Okay. Just sitting here waiting for people. I shouldn't start with Facebook. Facebook's always the slowest one to come up. There we go. Hello. Hi, Brianna. While we're waiting, I'd love to hear where you're from. So whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, where are you from? I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. We just had our first snowfall of the winter, and it sounds like it's just turned into rain now. So anyway, so where are you from? Where do you live? Park Ridge, Illinois. Never heard of Park Ridge. Agent Eric Tan. Park Ridge, Illinois. I've heard of Park Ridge, but not Park Ridge, Illinois. I should look that up. Pray. Oh, geez. Pray. I don't even want to try and say that. In Maine. I don't know how to say that. I'm too embarrassed to even attempt that one. Border Chicago. Oh, okay. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So how many people we've got? We've only got 8 people so far. I'm not usually on this late. If I am, I'm kind of a bit slower. Mentally, I'm not too with it at night. I'm a morning person. Sydney, Australia. That's where my son was born. He was born at Nepean Hospital. My daughter was born in Brisbane at the Wesley. So welcome, Katerina. Welcome. I've got quite a few Australian clients right now. Yeah. I don't notice the accent because I lived there for 20 years. So to me, it just sounds normal. Plus, my son still has an accent. My daughter was only 10 when we moved to Canada. So her accent's pretty much gone, a little bit of it. Okay, so let's get going. My name is Lisa. Welcome or welcome back. I'm a parenting coach, a mom, and I'm also a grandmother. If you go to BratBusters.com or the link above, you can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, or you can look into the podcast. My daughter and I work together and we do the podcast together, so it's lots of fun. Every day I'm curious if you have an insight into kids with ODD. Oh, you're not going to like me, Alex. ODD, I've asked doctors about it. They say it's just something that it's oppositional defiant disorder. It's something that they invented just to make moms feel better. But I disagree with that. I don't think, it's not a medical diagnosis. It just means the kids are oppositional. So, but usually that's a product of your parenting anyway. So work on yourself. The problem with giving that a label is it almost absolves the mom of any responsibility of fixing things. So that's why I don't really like that. They say, this is what doctors have told me. They say it's not a real medical diagnosis. It's just saying you just got a feisty kid. And anyway, learn how to be a leader, and that stuff just takes care of itself. Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Is that anywhere near Saskatoon? My dad was from Saskatoon. I always thought it was near Moose Jaw. I don't even know. Where's Moose Jaw? I'm curious now. I'd like to know. I've got clients all over the world, and I'm always fascinated hearing where everyone's from. World is such a big place. And yet, thanks to the internet, it seems quite small. Well, not really, but you know what I'm saying. I'm just looking it up now. I'm curious. Oh, no, it's not near that at all. Oh, it's near Regina. Oh. Sorry about that. Got that all mixed up. Probably drove through there at one point. Okay. So, and I am on here answering questions, but I'm also just passing on information because a lot of the times I'm just answering discipline questions, and that's really not what I'm all about at all. I'm more about connecting with your kids and how to connect in their world so you feel more bonded with them and they respect you more. The better you connect with your kids, the more they're going to respect you. So yeah, that's really what I'm all about, is your relationship with them. Not their behavior as much. Their behavior takes care of itself once you're a leader. So, okay. I finally got to all my email, or most of my emails. Yeah, I got to all my emails today. I usually try not to answer emails over the weekend. Like I try and answer emails Monday to Friday, but never happens. But I get some, I have to answer. I have to work every day, but I try not to answer emails every single day. But then when I do answer them, of course, I got a million of them. Help me. I have a 3-year-old. In a month, he's going to be 3, and a newborn 2-month-old baby. He keeps hitting and biting. Yeah, they're going to do stuff like that. Check out the behavior board and you'll see how to move forward. Check the behavior board is completely free. Check in the description. You're on YouTube. Check on the description there and you can look into the behavior board. It's sort of a mini course. It's completely free. So I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I always say that, and every time I say it, I don't sneeze. Okay, I know you say this is for parents. I'm a nana, but I think grandparents and grandchildren would benefit if all houses are the same. Okay, it's kind of unrealistic because not everyone's going to agree. So that's why I don't do that. I only teach parenting because when I was working with kids, I was mentoring / mothering them. So I just teach parenting. But yeah, if you were all on the same page, that's great. But good luck with that. Yeah. What's the earliest age a child can understand no? Okay, they can understand no, like at 10 months, I would say, 9 to 10 months, they can start to get it. But understanding it and respecting it and not doing what they're going to do anyway, that's the problem. It's not a lack of understanding that makes kids do things. It's a lack of impulse control. Or you get what I'm saying? They understand it. They just don't listen to it. You understand you should never speed. Chances are you probably speed sometimes. You understand you shouldn't, but you still do it. Why is that? It's like that. Okay. So it's a lack of impulse control, or you want to do what you want to do anyway, right? So understanding is not the problem. When do they get impulse control? When you're a leader. They don't tend to get it unless you're a leader. But they can start to learn at 16 months. They can start to learn, but it's consistent corrective actions. So it takes like 50 to 100 times before they actually learn. And they even might revisit the bad behavior again after that anyway, because they're forming. So they're really tiny. But by the age of 3, you use the behavior board. And that's when it really kicks in, that they really start to understand, wait a minute, if I do that, there's going to be a consequence. And I don't want that consequence. So yeah, understanding is not the issue here. Okay. Like it's oftentimes I'll talk to parents and they'll say, I was taught, he's 2 years old. He hit me and I explained to him that hurt my feelings. You shouldn't do that again. He said, sorry, mommy. He said, I won't do it again, and then she goes, and then he did it again. I'm like, yeah, what's your point? Yeah. These mini therapy sessions just don't work. They're useless. I thought it was developmental, so it's my fault. Oh, absolutely. Take full responsibility for your kids' behavior. That's what I teach. I teach accountability here. Leaders lead. Leaders take responsibility. Leaders take the blame. They take everything. When I was working with kids and if they acted out under my care for like an hour a week, I never blamed them. I always thought, what am I missing here? That's what a leader does. A leader takes full responsibility. Yes, take the blame. Yeah, it's your fault for sure. That's the way I do it. Don't blame the kids. They're just a victim of us. That's all. They're just reflecting your parenting or lack of leadership. Okay. So yeah, absolutely take the blame, 100%. And these are kids I only worked with for like an hour a week, troubled teenagers and everything. If they acted out under my care, I'm like, what am I missing here? What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? That's a leader. Don't wuss out and don't say to me now, you might want to say this and that's okay. Well, way to make me feel bad. That's so self-absorbed. Take responsibility. Put your big boy or big girl pants on. Take responsibility for your kids' behavior. Don't pass it off. Yeah, it says it like it is. Crack myself up sometimes. My daughter cringes sometimes when I just say stuff, but that's the truth. That's the truth. I say what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. That ODD is invented to tell you what you want to hear, oppositional defiant disorder, as if it's the kid's fault. No, it's your lack of leadership. It's not the kid's fault. It's yours. It's your responsibility. take responsibility, take the blame, take the fault. 5-year-old girl pushing way too hard the limits. I give her attention and ask what she needs and ask myself what I'm missing, but don't know. She still keeps being difficult. She doesn't give a damn about you ask what she needs. You already know what she needs. I don't know what you mean by that. It sounds like you're saying, well, what do you need? As if she's going to give you all the answers. You need to have the answers. Don't expect her to come up with them. So you might want to check out the boot camp course. It goes into great detail how you set yourself up as a leader. I'm just giving you snippets here, okay? But if you've been following me for a long time, the courses really don't have anything other than, I mean, I've said it all here, but it just packages everything up in one bundle. That's all. Whenever you buy a course from someone that you've been watching, it's all the same information. It's just packaged. A course just packages it up. That's all. Coaching is completely different. That's personal because I get to know you. That's different. Yeah, you might want to check out the course. Oh, you got a son who 16-month-old bites and kicks and all that. Yeah, when they get violent, you just physically restrain them, but you still don't look at them or talk to them. Don't say, you shouldn't do that in all those mini therapy sessions. Just say no and then physically restrain him if he's getting violent. Don't look at him or talk to him. You just say no and then hold him. Let go after a few seconds or a minute. If he starts up again, hold him again. He'll eventually learn. He's only 16 months old. You might want to redirect. You might want to hold him for a minute and then say, oh, what's this good book over here? And then start reading his favorite book out loud. Hopefully he'll calm down and you've redirected. But you've done it indirectly. Don't say, do you want to go play? That's rewarding all that stuff. So you do it indirectly. Yeah, you just go, oh, this is nice. Oh, look at these toys over here. Let me see. So you look like you're just fascinated by what you're doing, and hopefully he'll calm down and join in. Because you don't give attention to what you don't want. You give attention to what you do want. You address bad behavior or violent behavior, whatever, but then you focus on what you want. Put your energy, put your focus where you want it to grow. On what you want to grow. That didn't make any sense. You know what I mean. Okay. Took my son to a playground. He's going to be 4. Oh, so he's 3. Took my 3-year-old son to the playground. Some other kid was kicking him. So stepped in and stopped it. Asked him if he was okay and let him continue to play. Would you recommend talking to him about it later or just dealing with that stuff in the moment, then letting it go? You mean with the other kid or your kid? My son was sandwiched between the kid kicking him and another child, so he couldn't go anywhere. Oh, I would just go home with my kid. Or else I'd be right there, like right there. I'd let the kids know. I'd say, okay, here we go. You can play over here. And then I might look at the other kids, but I'm very careful with that because they're not your kids, none of your business, right? So yeah, just protect your own kid. I've left parks because there's been violent kids. And the parents are always the same. They're sitting on the bench, say you're sorry, and they don't know what they're doing. They're struggling, right? They say you're sorry, and they say sorry, and then they just do it again and again and again. So yeah, I would just take my kid out of the mix and then supervise him playing away from those other kids. That's all. Nothing you can do with other people's kids. Don't talk about it. There's no point. My 21-month-old understands no, but hates being told no, right? No one likes being told no. Always throws a tantrum after being told no. So that's him processing that you're in charge. That's okay. Everyone wants to avoid the scenes. Those are the lessons. The fit scenes, meltdowns, and tantrums are the lessons. Everyone wants the rainbow. You got to go through the storm to get there. If you give any attention to those fit scenes, meltdowns, and tantrums, then they're not going to learn a lesson. They need to process it all by themselves. Your child is processing the word no. That's okay. Don't discuss it. That's okay. He needs to learn how to process that. Don't interfere in that process, or else it'll just make it worse and worse and worse. We talk a lot about discipline here, but 99.9% of parenting is having fun with your kids, bonding with them, connecting with them, being silly. I was always the panty monster. Every single day I did laundry, put all my underpants on my head and chase the kids around the house. You got to have fun. You got to be that source of joy, and enjoy your kids, have fun. Now, yeah, they were laughing and having a great time. Don't you think I was probably having some fun there too? Come on, running around the house with underpants on my head. It's just silly, but they love that. So yeah, their love language is fun. And that's how you connect with them. They're much more likely to listen to you if you're a fun parent. But If my kids had ever stepped a toe out of line, I would have gone like this. Underpants would have come off, and I would have said, we'll try again tomorrow. Sorry, mommy, sir. That's okay. We'll try again tomorrow. It's over. You see? So I don't put up with any crap ever. So, but as fun as I am, it ends like that if they act out. Very fast. No anger. Oh, if those underpants come, oh, we'll try again tomorrow. Yeah, they understand, or they will eventually learn. How long would you give them while they're processing it? No. Is there an acceptable time? No, they can go for an hour or so. Yeah, that's okay. But you're off doing your own thing. You're completely ignoring them. Look up my videos on tantrums. It explains it all, like you ignore them, but you're nearby. It's important that they see you ignoring them. It's important that they know they're having a tantrum. But this is how you're reacting to it. Filing my nails, looking around, And as soon as they're done, oh, you all done? Do you want to go read a book? I do not discuss tantrums before, during, or after. There is no point whatsoever. Everyone wants to do all these mini therapy sessions. I know they're trendy, but they're absolute crap. I don't know who invented that. You do not have a mini therapy session with a toddler. It's absolutely ridiculous. When do you discuss bad behavior with kids? I would say never. You address it. That's it. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. You address bad behavior, have a consequence or consistent corrective action with toddlers under the age of 3. And that's it. It's all over. Let it go. Everyone wants to drive these points home. That's berating and bullying and shaming and blaming. The more you talk about the bad behavior, it's berating, shaming, bullying, and blaming. It's just mean. It's mean. Okay, I have a hard time. This is Heather. I have a hard time controlling my anger. Do you have tips on regulating my emotions during my toddler tantrums? Not really. You just have to learn how to do that. It's like going to a diet center and saying, I have a really hard time not sticking my head in the fridge and eating everything in there at nighttime. Well, that's your challenge. It just is. You can be as angry as you want, but just don't show it. That's your challenge. It's hard work, but it's worth it. That's the thing. It's a skill that you learn. You have to develop it. When I was working with troubled teens, they taught me more than anyone ever did. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had some training, but I knew I'd never use it. I was going to find my own way, which I did. And I remember I never showed any anger or disappointment. I was very careful. Believe me, they pushed and pushed. So I was very careful. I won't go into it. I had a whole system of how I did this. But on the way home, you don't think I was swearing like blue streak all the way home at those kids and what they were saying and doing? Yeah, I was angry, but I never showed it. Leaders don't show anger. Leaders are calm when you're disciplining. The rest of the time, I'm crazy, just connecting with kids. What do I do when 4-year-old tries to run in the room where media is being played and he has media blackout? Okay, good question. When you do media blackout, the kid who has media blackout has the run of the house. The rest of the family goes in the master bedroom with a smaller screen. Yeah, everyone suffers a little bit. That's just part of it. There usually is a lock on the master bedroom door, so you could use that. Or just supervise them. Make sure, and you're out there with them. You don't go on media when they got media blackout. Sounds to me like they're sequestered somewhere else. It doesn't work that way. You sequester everyone else somewhere else. Everyone else somewhere else. So it's a lot of the word else. But anyway, you get the idea here? Yeah, and then you say, hey, I'm going to do media blackout with you. Do you want to play a game? No, I hate you. I hate you. Okay, never mind. And when they calm down, you ready for that game now? So you're trying to connect. It's all over. You've already imposed the consequence, which was media blackout. There's no anger. It's already done. You're finished. That's the pool story. Look up example of leadership parenting. And if you go on any of my platforms, it's called example of leadership parenting. And it's the pool story. If you go on YouTube, just type in BratBusters pool story. It'll turn up. It explains that you deal with bad behavior, then you focus on the good kid. So yeah. Do I have that? Did I talk about that? I don't know what I put in the behavior board. That's free, the behavior board. I can't remember. I mean, obviously, I didn't go into in the same detail I went in the courses about how you do all that. But yeah, the kid who has media blackout is not the one that's confined. It's the other people that are confined. Often what ends up happening is if you're playing with one kid, like games without media, the other kids often come out of the bedroom and want to play too. So that happens a lot with younger kids, not so much with older kids. Advice on how to practice more patience as a parent. Well, not really, because it's just one of those things. I tell you what to do, and then it's your challenge to get yourself to do it. That's your own self-motivation and self-discipline. There's not much I can tell you. Everyone's different. So, sometimes I'll offer some advice and parents will go, that didn't help. And then other parents will, you got to find your own way to master this. That is your challenge, is remaining calm when you're disciplining. It works. But once it starts to work, it gets easier. This is what parents tell me all the time. They say, God, it's easy. Once you get a few wins under your belt, it gets real easy to do because it works so well. So yeah, that's your challenge. Yeah. I remember years ago, I used to teach aerobics back when we used to wear the leotard that came up to here, It's so ridiculous. Anyway, it went straight, a string right up the butt, but then the sides came up to here. It was so stupid, up to your rib cage. Anyway, I used to teach aerobics. So, and I remember I had this one person said something to me, and I'm sure other people had said it too, but this one just stuck out in my mind, the way they worded it. I can't remember exactly how they said. They said, yeah, once I'm here, it's great. I really enjoy myself. But how can you help me get here? And I said, I'll tell you what. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put my alarm on. I'll give me your address and give me a key to your house. So I'll put my alarm on. Our class starts at 6 a.m. I'll put it on for 4:30. So I'll get up, get all dressed, and then I'll come to your house, open up the door. I'll come in your room, get you up, get you in the shower, wake you up, and then drive you there. They never ask me again. That is the challenge. You have to get to the gym. You have to calm down. That's on you. I can't really help you with that. That's your challenge. You're asking me to help you regulate your emotions. I can't do that. Only you can regulate your emotions. Pooping on the potty, super common. It's usually boys. It's a 4-year-old who won't poop on the potty. Yeah, this comes up pretty much every single life. They'll pee on the potty, but they won't poop. So there's usually 3 reasons why they won't. It's plot phobia. Maybe they pooped in the big toilet and they got splashed. So it's the splashback, right? They didn't like that. Also, it might be the hanging phobia. They start pooping and it's hanging in midair. It might be uncomfortable, pulling on their little bottom. You know what I'm saying? And then the last one is they might get a cold bum. They're cold. They got no pants on. They're cold. I don't know. So it's one of those 3, perhaps. So what I suggest you do is you say, okay, we're going to get a little potty, put toilet paper in the bottom. So when they sit down, they can feel something up against their bum. They know they're not going to get splashed back and they won't get that hanging because it can hit the bottom of the potty before it's left them. Sorry about all this, but it's kid stuff. And then the last one, just put a little a sleeping bag teepee around them when they're sitting on the potty, and you can just watch a YouTube video with them or something while they're pooping. And then plug your nose when you open up that teepee afterwards. So yeah, give that a go. Might work, might not. Remember, I used to do a lot of TV and radio years ago, the old-fashioned media. And I stopped doing it once I realized the only people watching me were grandparents, and they're not my audience. It's the parents that are my audience. And yeah, I realized that was about 10 years ago. I stopped doing that. Anyway, so, but one day I was going to be teaching potty training on the breakfast TV show here in Vancouver. And they said, oh, Lisa, we went out and bought a toilet. So we decorated it so you can show. And I thought, wow, I'm on TV with a toilet. What a classy broad. And that's what I did. I went on TV with a toilet. Oh, shoot. I have to go over to Instagram now if you want to join me over there. Check out, I'm also on YouTube the whole time. That's where all my lives are saved. That's where all of our podcasts are saved too, they're on our website, but they're also on YouTube. And then the podcast is, it's on all the platforms, Apple, Spotify, and all that stuff. It's called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. Yeah, grandparent here. Oh, I'm a grandparent too. A lot of my clients come to me from their parents finding me. So grandparents, I'm glad you're here, but they were my only audience when I was doing TV. Anyway, what was I going to say about that? Oh yeah. Anyway, so I'm hopping over to Instagram now. Check out my website, bratbusters.com, or the link above. You can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, and you can look into the podcast, which is BratBusters Parenting Podcast. Last week, it changes every single day. It changes, but last week it hit number 3 in North America under parenting. like, wow, we've only been doing it for like 3 months now. So wow, we're just blown away by the reception it's got. But we're having a lot of fun doing it. My daughter and I do it together. Anyway, bye now. I'm going over to Instagram. I wish I just had to push one button. I've got like probably 6 buttons, maybe 7. There we go. I got sent in the mail today. I'm talking to you, YouTube. I'm just making conversation, waiting for Instagram. My old age security pension application. My old age security pension application in the mail, because they send that to you automatically when you're turning 65. Wow. You know, as soon as I got that in the mail, it was like, wow. I went and looked in the mirror. I thought, wow, when did that happen? When did I get so old? Struck me as funny. Okay. Just waiting. Oh, everyone's here already. I forgot Instagram. Everyone turns up all at once. Welcome or welcome back. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach and mom, and I'm also a grandmother because my hat says I am. And if you go on my website or the link above, you can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, or you can listen to our podcast. It's on all the platforms. My daughter and I do it together because we work together. She asks me your questions and then I answer them. Okay. So yeah, I don't care. I love being old. Like I really love, I'll be 65 this year. I love being in my 60s. But you know what I'm very aware of? I'm on the other side of the bell curve. I'm as good as I'm going to get. I'm going down the other way now. My whole life, I've always worked on my fitness, my appearance, you know, like just looking, I'm not into makeup or anything, but just looking, you know, well-groomed, put together. I like being clean. And I thought, wow, I'm going down the other way now. You're always trying to look better when you're younger. And now I'm just trying to hang on to anything I can at this age. Anyway, I love being in my 60s. Okay, so let's get going with your questions. Love the podcast. You're both doing awesome. Yeah, my daughter is, she doesn't like being in front of the camera, but she agreed to, it was her idea. She makes all the plans with this business anyway. She said, Mom, I got to do it with you because someone has to ask the questions. I think she's kind of enjoying it. But yeah, she's a behind the scenes kind of person. Okay, how to handle a 12-month-old throwing a spoon and crying if I feed him. Let him cry. Keep feeding him. If he throws his spoon, then you feed him. He will eventually learn. They just do. I know they're going to scream and cry. That's okay. And does he need a spoon? Why has he got a spoon at 12 months old? Can't you just chop up food like, you know, that he can eat too? And then between bites, then you can hand feed him the sloppy stuff. You know, I'd be intervening with that. They learn. They eventually learn to give in. Well, I don't know what's going on here. It could be a million different things. Maybe not a million, but anyway. What do I do when my 4-year-old says no to being told it's bath time? Do you have a regular bedtime routine, bath time routine? What I would do is I'd say, okay, so 7, it has to happen every single night at the same time. Now, I like routines with bedtime, school morning, and bedtime, and what else? And mealtime routine. Doesn't have to be the same time every night, but you want them sitting there, no toys, no screens or anything, and being polite kind of thing. So you don't want them getting up all the time. So those are 3 things. Mealtime is my least favorite one. It's the most difficult one to do. But yeah, just say follow bedtime routine, put it on the behavior board. If they don't, there's a consequence the next day. He's just saying no because he doesn't respect you. That's all. Work on your leadership skills. That's all I teach here. Remember, they're just a product of you. If they're saying no, that means you got to up your leadership skills. That means you're not getting respect. You got to get respect. Parents always blame their kids. It has nothing to do with them. Their behavior between the ages of 3 and 12 years old is 100% a direct result of your parenting. So look at it that way. It's not them, it's you. You just haven't earned respect yet. You got to work on yourself. We're not fixing kids, we're fixing and teaching parents here. Oh, 4-year-old tugging on my shirt, pulling on my legs and arms when I'm ignoring the tantrum. Advice, yeah, just push him away. Like just grab his hand that he's pulling and just sort of hold him away from you, but don't look at him. Do not look at him. Yeah, he's just he's getting physical with you. That's sort of next level at 4. That's sort of next level. I wouldn't call it red zone quite yet, but yeah, when they start getting physical and grabbing at you when you're not looking at them, yeah, that's sort of next level. So yeah, I would just hold him and push him away a little bit. You're not pushing him, you're just holding him away from you. And then let go. If he comes at you again, grab him again. Don't let him win. If you look at him and talk to him, he just won. And he knows it. You may not, but he does. Do you have experience with kids on the autism spectrum? Yep, I have a whole bunch of experience with that. It's only in coaching, though, only because I have to assess the situation. They're all different. I used to work with kids with disabilities, and then now a lot of my families, they have kids with disabilities and challenges and kids on the spectrum. They're more special needs autism. ADHD, that's not special needs. Those are all the kids I worked with, but yeah. Okay, oops. One thing that, it's just been coming out in the last few days with some clients and on the podcast that, I'm just reacting to your questions here, but really in coaching, it's very different. Coaching, I take total control over coaching, and it's more about connecting than anything else. Whereas here, I don't know why I don't do that here. I guess because I call it a parenting Q&A, but really, what I teach is how you connect with kids. Their love language is fun. The more fun you are, the more likely they are to listen to you all the time. It's just the way it is. So, and it doesn't mean that you're juggling for them all day long. It just means that you have a sense of wonder. You know how to enter their world. You know how to enjoy them. And then when you say scram, I need to get some stuff done, they'll happily go off and scram because you're meeting their needs and you're managing their wants, right? So it's more about connecting than anything else. And that just doesn't come through a lot in these lives because I'm just reacting to your questions because they're scrolling through and I'm like, oh my God, I should be answering all this. But really, I want to focus more on how you connect with kids. Find your inner silly. Find something goofy to do with your kids. I was always doing crazy stuff. Like I would, oh, that's too embarrassing. I talk a lot about this in coaching, but when I've got a bigger audience, I always get self-conscious about it. Yeah, I was pretty crazy. But kids love that stuff. They love, be humble and vulnerable enough to be crazy and silly. I'm very vulnerable with kids. I'll do anything. I have no pride, no dignity at all when I'm with kids. They see the best of me, actually. I've got no defenses up, no wall, nothing. It's just, they just get the best of me because they're great, right? I just love kids. So, and they know that. They pick up on that. So they want to please me because I'm a leader and I don't take any crap either. I'm very quick to address stuff. That's the pool story. Look up, if you go on YouTube, just type in BratBusters pool story and you'll see the pool story. It explains, I deal with bad behavior, then I focus on bringing out the best in kids. And when the kids like themselves when they're with you, which the way you do that is by having fun with them. When they like themselves when they're with you, they instinctively, naturally, organically want to please you. That's the way this is. They feel good about themselves. No, please share embarrassing story with us. Oh, God. Oh, I got a dilly that clients often go, what is wrong with you? I don't know if I'm ready to tell that one. I did a lot of crazy stuff. Simple stuff. Like one of them is if I was busy doing chores and the kids were getting a bit squirrely, when you're making dinner, that's the witching hour, right? So what I would do is I'd say, okay, now Mom has to hop everywhere. I'm not allowed to walk. I can only hop or skip or whatever I chose. Or every time Mom walks, she has to flap her wings. So I just would, and they'd be watching me like a hawk. And then I said, if I forget, I'm going to do something special with you later. And then I just play a game that I didn't usually play, or I give them a treat or something. So even though I was busy, I was still often had a sense of wonder going. It's like they're watching you like a hawk because I had to fly into the bathroom, fly from the toilet to the sink. I mean, everywhere I went, I had to fly or whatever it was or skip. And then, of course, I'd make sure I messed up. Oh, Mommy, you weren't flying. Oh, well, darn it. Now I'm going to have to do something. Now I'm going to have to play hide and seek after dinner. So always kind of thinking about being that sense of wonder, that sense of entering their world. I always say you don't connect with kids at the nail salon. You connect with them in their world. Unless you've got a 16-year-old girl, then it might be the nail salon. That's her world too. But it's not my world at all. I hate all that stuff. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Connect with them in their world. And that sense of wonder with young children, which most of you have young kids. I specialize in teenagers, but most people on these lives have little kids. And, but yeah, be a sense of wonder. Be that goofy, they love all that stuff. But anyway, that was one thing I did. If I was busy doing chores, I often was flying into the laundry room. So just little things like that. I didn't even do much of that in front of my husband because it wasn't my world with him. I'm not flying. You know what I mean? Like it was something I just did with the kids when it was just me and them alone. So, because that's how silly I was. I was embarrassed to be like that around anyone really, except kids. I remember when I was working with kids and I'd be up the back of the classroom and the kids and I would just be doing silly stuff. And they knew if they acted out, I'd stop being fun. They knew that very quickly. I'd stop. And so and then I'd say, oh, quick, teacher's coming. She just act normal. Hello. We talked to the teacher and the kids. They love being in on that. Like it made them feel special that I was kind of a renegade, a little bit crazy. And that was our secret world we had going on. But I got results. They would finish their work with me. Not that it wasn't always perfect, but it was pretty darn good because I was really good at connecting with them. So, and then I'd say, okay, the teacher's coming, just act normal. Yeah. So anyway, did you get that done? Because I don't normally talk like that with kids. I'm a little bit crazier. So yeah, find your inner silly. And, oh, this is cute. I barely yell anymore since starting the behavior board. Good for you. Yeah, the behavior board's about you. It teaches you a lot about yourself. And also you can even ask your kids once you get good at this, what do I do that annoys you? Well, you ask us to do chores or, well, let's say, no, it can't be something like that. But is there something that I do that you'd like me to start doing or stop doing? Or, ask them as they get older, usually 5, 6, 7, 8, you can start asking kids for their input on the behavior board. Oh, how do you handle yelling? Age 3, you don't. That's in the attitude department. You handle your yelling because you're an adult. We can handle your attitude. But yeah, you don't address attitude with kids at all. There's no point whatsoever. None. You're trying to address an emotional response. You're trying to address their emotions. Good luck with that. You don't do that. Yeah, it doesn't work. They calm down, they naturally, organically calm down once you get your leadership sorted out. Behavior board doesn't work with my 4-year-old. What to do? Have you tried the course? It's a lot more, and a lot more to it. Or if you're really struggling, that would be coaching. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. If it's not working, I can't assess that right here. The behavior board it's okay. I mean, it's good, but it's not the be all and end all. If you're doing something that you really shouldn't be doing and you're trying to make the behavior board work, like let's say you're not playing with them enough, it's not going to work. If you're not meeting their needs, it's not going to work. So yeah, I don't know why it's not working. Usually does. Sometimes people will hire me like for coaching and then I'll say, well, that's why it doesn't work because of this. They won't get it. Oftentimes it's your anger. Your attitude can really make it all tank. If you look angry, I'll tell you a cute story. I was working with this mom and she had an older kid and this was so cute. And so I love coaching so much. It's fun. And anyway, she said, I can't remember how old her kid was. I don't know, 10 or 12 or something. And she had said to this kid, she goes, well, I don't know why it's not working because I said to them, okay, so you've got 15 minutes to empty the dishwasher. And the 15 minutes starts now. And the mom said, and she gave me the finger and told me to F off. And I said, okay, well, you show me exactly how you said that to her. So, because I've been working with her for a bit already. So I had an inkling of what was going on. So she goes, I said, show me exactly what you said to her. And this is what the mom did. She goes, so you've got 15 minutes to empty the dishwasher. Time starts now. And I said, you rolled your eyes. She said, no, I didn't. I said, yes, you did. Try it again. And she goes, okay, you got 15 minutes. I said, you did it again. She just kept rolling her eyes. That's not right. You can't do that. So, and then I said, try it again. She goes, okay, you got 15 minutes. She just couldn't not do it. So I said, okay, next time do it like this. You got 15 minutes. She just couldn't remove her anger and her disgust and her disappointment. And that was making everything tank. And once we identified that, God, it was funny. I was just about crying. I was laughing so hard. So was she. But yeah, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why it's not working. But it's sometimes something like that. 2 nights in a row. I thought I did it last night. Yeah, I thought I did. And was I here last night? Yeah, I was. because I think I stopped at 6:45 or something. I think I remember that. Anyway, yeah, I really enjoy doing lives, and I don't get around to doing them enough. It's often I'll do them when I'm procrastinating with some other work I don't want to do, but I've already done that. So yeah, it's good. I just enjoy doing it. My favorite thing is coaching. My second favorite thing is doing a podcast with my daughter. And then my third thing is here with you guys. Oh, sorry, I got to scroll ahead to make sure you're still here when I answer. This came up earlier, similar question. Almost 3-year-old screams and says no to basic tasks. Oh, it's almost 3, so it's not 3 yet. Basic tasks like brushing teeth or diaper. Okay, so if I say, let's say it's something that has to be done. So I say, okay, I've given them some warning usually. We're going to be brushing your teeth soon. So, at 8 o'clock or whatever. And I say, soon. And I might even start a timer. And if you know it's going to be an issue. So say, we're going to be brushing your teeth. And then say, okay, oh, the timer went off. Okay, let's go brush your teeth. They say no. I pick them up. I carry them kicking and screaming into the bathroom. I try and pry their mouth open a little bit, and I get some brushing done. I don't care how well it's done. I take action. Once I've said something to a toddler that has to be done, we're getting in the car. I don't care if they're in their underpants. I'm going to strap them in their underpants and bring the clothes, and I'll dress them when we get there. I take action. I don't say anything twice. So, and they know, they learn. Like, I remember my daughter and I were doing a podcast one day, and I said, why did you guys just do what needed doing? Because she said, we knew it was going to happen anyway. So there's no point arguing with mom. Once I've said something's going to happen, it's going to happen no matter what. May not be done well, but it's going to happen. So yeah, time to change your diaper. No, well, I'm picking them up, kicking and screaming. I don't care if that diaper's on their head. I've got it on them. But I'm calm, and I don't talk during it either. I'm very quiet. Where do we hear the podcast? It's on all the platforms. Oh, someone noticed my artwork. My daughter and I were laughing at that. That's just burlap. That's my third attempt at doing my own artwork. I'm laughing because I can't find what I really want. I really want some big wicker or like big circles, the discs, big ones. I want like 3 of them, just, kind of overlapping, but I can't find them. Either that or maps, really nice black and white maps. Can't find anything I want. So anyway, that's just burlap. My daughter and I were laughing at it because it's pretty bad. Really. I don't mind it. It's better than the other stuff that was there, but I'm no good at all that stuff. So I wish I was better at it. You see people, this is how you make some artwork. And I watched all the videos and then I do that. Okay, whatever. But thank you very much. It's not bad. It's better than the other one. What's your cheese sauce recipe? Searching for something that my kids will live. Okay. I made a lot of cheese sauce pretty much every night for dinner, but I had pureed all sorts of stuff and thrown it in. Like a lot of cauliflower was in there, a lot of seeds, like flax seeds and that I would put in there, puree it all up. It was just I don't remember now. It was basically, I think, butter. And then how would you do that? I'm vegan now, so I don't make anything like that. Just butter, look it up. Butter, you make like a roux, butter and a little bit of milk and make whisk it all up. And then you just start adding milk gradually, heat it up. Once it's on the stove or in the microwave, then you add all the grated cheese and all the other good stuff. But do it behind the kids' back so they don't see what you're putting in there. I can't remember what else I used to put in there. I use cheese sauce just to hide stuff. Yeah. Should see the way you eat now. I'm a gluten-free health food vegan. Yeah. Don't ask. It just works for me. Crazy. Okay. 10-year-old son has a hard time making friends. Seems to find flaws and nitpicks. I tell him nobody is perfect and neither are we. Yeah, get them out in as many things as possible. That's the best thing that you can do. And don't just throw your kids, if they're having a hard time making friends, don't just throw them into activities or clubs in your neighborhood. It's often the same kids. Get them in different districts. You know what a lot of people do with trick-or-treating? They go to the really big rich areas Like they'll get in the car and drive miles away to go to the really wealthy areas because they get the real big size chocolate bars usually at those places. So it's kind of like that. Not necessarily the wealthy areas, but take them in different areas, get them out around different kids, throw them in as much as possible, different places. And when they're complaining about other people, when they're going on, and I would just go, well, no one's perfect, kiddo. I wouldn't give it any meat and potatoes there. I'd just say, yeah, alrighty then. And you're perfect. How? So yeah, I wouldn't feed that. Someone said, oh, like the program. I don't know what that means. Okay, advice for flying for the first time with 2.5-year-old twins. I was going to make a joke, but I shouldn't in case someone takes it seriously. I was going to say medicate, not the kids, but you. I can't help you with that. I traveled with toddlers. It was hell. I give them whatever they want because there's no way I would put a plane through a screaming kid. Yeah, give them whatever they want. No rules apply. None whatsoever. Whatever they want. Here you go. Here you go. Have it. Have a bag full of goodies, bag full of toys. Yeah, give them whatever they want. And then as soon as you get off the plane, back to rules again. They pick up on that. They get it. But yeah, no, I haven't got any advice. I've done it. It's a nightmare. And we used to travel from Australia where we lived back to Canada. And it's a 24-hour trip, like with a stopover and that. My son, the first time we did it with him, he was 18 months old. He didn't sleep for 24 hours. 18 months old. 24 hours. 18 months old. He didn't cry, but his eyes were very red and very wide. Yeah, I don't think he heard anything we were saying. He was just out of it. But yeah, I gave him whatever. He actually nodded off at one point, and then he woke up right away. But it was awful. So yeah, give him whatever he wants. Just saw some huge big wall baskets at Hobby Lobby. We don't have Hobby Lobby. I'm in Vancouver. I'll look it up online. Hobby Lobby baskets. Yeah, that's just a placeholder. Those are placeholders for my whatever I can find. They're going to be up there for months anyway. I'm too lazy to do that. But I can't stand a bare wall. I have to have something up there. I like cleaning, but I don't know anything about decorating with that sort of stuff. Okay. What time is it? Oh, I got to run. I got to go over to TikTok because that's my last stop, and I'm on YouTube the whole time. So if you want to check out my website, check out the link above. It's BratBusters.com. You can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, or you can look into the podcast. My daughter and I do that together, and we're having a blast with that. We actually completely canned one of them and got rid of it because we just got the giggles so much. And it's not about us. I mean, we do tell stories about ourselves, but only with stuff that I think can sort of enlighten you. But yeah, we just went on this giggle fest and we just tossed it. Forget it. We just got the giggles and that was so stupid. But anyway, but we're having a lot of fun doing it. So if you want to check that out, it's across all the platforms. Just go to BratBusters.com. That's got everything on it. Okay, thanks very much for joining me. I'm hopping over to TikTok now. Bye now. There, it's 10 buttons I had to push to go over. That's a lot of buttons. Okay. Just waiting for everyone to turn up. I like to take a bit of a break because my throat gets sore after a while. Okay. Welcome to the live. By the way, while we're waiting for people to turn up, where are you from? I'm in Vancouver, Canada. We had our first snowfall this winter, but it sounds like it's raining now. So it might we don't always get snow in Vancouver. If we do, it might just be a few days. But yeah. Arizona, never been there. I hear Arizona, like deserts, are either really hot or really cold. There's no in between. Because I've got a client right now in a desert, and I said that, and they said, oh yeah, they said it's either really hot or it's really cold. Nothing in between. South Dakota. Hello, Danielle. South Texas, right by the border. My husband's from Bellingham. Oh, a neighbor. Yeah, I'm up here in Vancouver. I never crossed the border to go shop. I'm not a shopper, so yeah, I never crossed the border. There's lots of shopping in Bellingham, which a lot of people who live in Vancouver go to for American shopping, because there's stuff down there that you can't get up here. Now they're telling us because of all these tariffs, we're not supposed to buy American, and I don't know what's going on in politics. All these politicians are always fighting about something. I don't know. Okay. You help me so much with the only say things once and why. Yeah. I don't know if I go on about the why, but yeah, they understand. As long as they understand it. Yeah, I only say it once. But if they already understand it, like we're leaving and we're getting in the car now, I don't explain why. They know we're going, right? So, but yeah, good for you. You don't have to repeat yourself. Every time you repeat yourself, you look weak. Okay, we're gonna get in the car now. Okay, time to get in the car. You've already lost at that point. It's over. All over. Swan River, Manitoba, Arizona, no in between. That's interesting. You always think of the desert as being hot, but it's not. It's really cold at night, isn't it? Yeah, interesting. South Africa. Oh, nice. I think I've got a client South Africa right now. I get clients all over the world. And whenever I get a client with a strong accent, when I have a hard time understanding them, which often happens, I yell at them. I don't know why. It has nothing to do with anything. And they say, no, Lisa, we can hear you. I say, every time I have a hard time understanding someone, I start yelling. And then what you do, I'm not the brightest bulb sometimes. Toronto, hello, Jane. It says jammy. Okay, let's get going with your questions. Welcome to I don't think I introduced myself on here yet. Anyway, welcome to TikTok. Actually, TikTok is where I really took off 2 years ago. So I have a real soft spot for TikTok. And I'm really glad that I didn't lose my American friends on here, because I would have been really disappointed. But it was interesting when you were down for 14 hours, Americans, and the subscriber list didn't go down. So you're probably still subscribed, even if you're not on there. I don't know how that went, but anyway, it was interesting. So, but yeah, I have a real soft spot for TikTok. So I'm glad you're all still here. I don't think it would have affected our business that much, because I don't think most of our clients come from TikTok, but still it would have been sad. Okay. Oh, you said my 2-year-old really understands this first, then etc. Will this change? He transitions perfectly. Some kids are just born easier going. And my daughter and I often say this, people who are just born with super easy kids, like my daughter was like that, just super easy, never argued or anything, and never had a tantrum, just born, just sort of even tempered. She still doesn't have a temper really. Neither do I, though. I never had tantrums either. My son had tantrums. It's just the way they're born. And then parents will say, well, the reason why my toddler doesn't have tantrums is because I just explain everything to them. That's not why they don't have tantrums. That always strikes us as kind of funny, like as if you take credit for your kid not having tantrums. It is just their nature. They're either going to have them or they're not. I'm telling that to the parents who have kids with tantrums, because it doesn't help them to hear you say it's you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, that may very well be you too, but it's a temperament. So some kids are just easier, period. I knew someone who had a really easy kid and was just talking about how wonderful of a parent they were, and they just explain everything. And then they had another one, completely different child. They never talked about their parenting after that second kid. Never. It was great. That's wrong. What, that they're born that way? Well, I'd like to hear you elaborate on that. Good luck arguing that with me. There's 4 things they're born to do or they're never going to do. One is tantrums, one is climbing, one is running, and one is hitting. They're born with those dispositions, or they're never going to do them. They're either going to try them, and you can train them out of them eventually, but it's something they're just born to do. East Texas. I would really like to go to Texas. I have Austin in my sights. I'd like to go there. We'll probably incorporate a business trip into it one day. But yeah, I'd really like to go to Austin one day. because I'm vegan. I'm really into fitness and health and all that. And I've heard that that's a real, it's a lifestyle there. Because in Vancouver, we all wear leggings all the time. People laugh at us, but it's because we're so fit. We love being fit. So we're always running everywhere. And so, yeah, that's why we're always dressed in leggings here. And I heard that Austin's kind of similar. Austinite here. Yeah, it just appeals to me. I can just see it. So 2 of them. Oh, excellent. I've been invited to stay with some of my clients who live in Austin. I would never do that to people, but but yeah, it's really sweet. Niagara Falls. I was there in probably 1970. I was 10 years old then. I think I was there in 1970. I have a picture of it, and I'm wearing this crossbody bag and bouffant hair. I was 10. Were you always calm raising kids? I was very crazy when I was what you'd call a crazy mother. I was one of those, but it was all like, because I was goofy. But if they ever acted out, I was very calm. My son, he had a friend over one day, and the friend was destructive. There was some new kid at school. We never had him over again. He didn't fit into our household. My son found him very awkward to be around. He was very destructive and just trying to cause trouble. And they were little too. So, and this little kid said, "Oh, your mom's going to yell at me." And my son said, I heard this conversation. My son said to him, "My mom doesn't yell, but if she whispers, run." Yeah, I'm very calm when I'm disciplining. I say, "Okay, I'll tell you what, you shouldn't have done that. So here's what we're going to do." Okay. That's how I discipline. The rest of the time I was nuts. I was definitely the crazy one in the household, for sure. I still am. That's just my nature, though. You don't have to be crazy fun with kids. You can be fun in other ways. You don't have to be like as crazy as I was. But it helps if it's your basic nature anyway. That's my basic nature, is I like goofy stuff. But yeah, it's not for everybody. That's for sure. Yelling just makes things worse. Yeah, yelling is an accelerator. By the way, the reason why parents yell is because it works in the short term, and they don't know what else to do. I teach what else to do. It backfires in the long term, though. Do you have a book? No, I haven't done one yet. 2025 was going to be our book year because we were going to sign with this publishing house and all that. And now the podcast has taken off. So we're putting a lot more into the podcast now. We're going where you're going. We're putting our efforts into what you're into. So the podcast just took off. We didn't expect that. So, you got to be willing. I mean, it's nice to plan a business and have goals, but you've got to go with, like, we're doing what you want. So I'd love to write a book one day. I'm sure I will, but that will be my legacy. So it's got to be really good. I got to have time for it. Plus, I'm probably going to have to cut down on coaching, or if not, stop it altogether to write a book. And I don't want to do that. I love coaching. 7-year-old, very smart mouth. If I were to get onto him every time, I'd be getting onto him all the time. Oh, you don't get onto a smart mouth. That's attitude. That's a tell. It means that you're not a leader. Work on your leadership skills, and he just doesn't respect you. That's on you. Their behavior is just a reflection of your parenting. So remember, we're never fixing kids here. We're fixing and teaching parents. You set yourself up as a leader, and that smart mouth will go away. They don't talk back to a leader. They look up to you. They want to please a leader because the leader brings out the best in them. A leader makes them like themselves. I was working with one of the teenagers I used to mentor. He said to me years later, he said, "I didn't like myself until I met you, Lisa." That's what a leader does. A leader makes them like themselves. And the smart mouth just doesn't even apply in those situations. A smart mouth is a sign of low self-esteem. Do you still do classes? I don't do classes. I don't know what you mean. I do one-on-one coaching, but I don't do classes. No. I have courses that you can just, you do it on your own. But no, I don't do classes. We are going to, my daughter was just setting all this up. She does all the planning and that. We are going to, I forget what she calls it, but we're going to be bringing you in on the podcast. So We've asked people who want to be included. If you're in the boot camp courses, it's for people who are in the boot camp courses. We're sending out emails to you and soon, and we're inviting you to be on the podcast. The reason why we want people on the boot camp courses is you've already got a lot of information under your belt. So you're going to ask questions that are a bit more sort of further along. And so yeah, and the conversation is just going to be a bit meatier. So yeah, for now anyway, that's the way we're doing. That's how we're starting doing this. And we're going to bring you in, and you're going to be like a guest on we're going to bring in a few different people on each podcast. We'll probably do that once a week. I don't know how we're going to manage. My daughter does all the planning for that. When she tells me what we're going to be doing, I don't listen most of the time. I'll give you a good example of the difference between us. She was over here. We do the podcast at my place. Yeah, because I've got all the cameras all set up here. So we were doing a podcast one day, and then when she was editing, she was doing something to it. After we did it, we finished filming we usually do 2 at a time. And then she's at my computer, and she goes, "Okay, Mom, now what I want you to do is I want you to go and film some videos on this." So I had my phone or something with me, and she says, and then I go off, and then she goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm darning a sock." She is so business work oriented, and I'm darning a sock when she'd already told me what I should have been doing. And she says, I could tell she was kind of mad at me. So yeah, she's definitely more the one in charge of a lot of stuff. I'm the one that's always in trouble. But I thought that was so funny. That epitomizes the difference in us. I'm Holly homemaker. I love everything. I love cleaning. I love organizing. And then she's all business. I told you to do that. Why are you darning a damn sock? Because I wanted to. It had a hole in it. Oh gosh, a nut. Yeah, we're very different. That's why we work so well together, because we balance each other out. Oh, how do you handle a jealous 2-year-old of a baby? Not much you can do. You just keep your eye on that toddler at all times, or the baby. Make sure that toddler can't get to them alone. You can't trust a toddler with a baby. They'll eventually get used to having it around. It's kind of like a house plant that yells and screams and stinks, but they'll get used to it. It'll just become like furniture after a while. And then once the baby starts walking around and interacting, then they might become close, right? So for now, not much you can do. How do I become a leader? Well, it takes years to sort of explain all that. But basically, if you want to check out a course, you can go check that out. It's kind of big picture stuff. You become a leader by bringing out the best in your kids. You deal with bad behavior, get it over and done with fast, and then you focus on the good kid. Where you put your energy, where you put your focus is what grows. Parents often say, but when do they get easier? And I say, well, once your leadership is cemented, because you're trying to erase a lot of the past too, right? So here's the thing, is you never deal with attitude, ever. There's no point whatsoever. But you can't, this is with kids, they can't fight with a calm, loving parent forever. It's impossible. They'll eventually give up. You are a calm, loving parent. You can be crazy when you're playing with them, but when you're disciplining or the rest of you, calm, loving parent, they can't fight you forever. They will eventually give up. Kids tend to only do what works. Adults are different. We're different. We often continue to do what doesn't work just because we get in patterns. Our brains are different. They're more cemented. Kids aren't. They're very pliable. We're not as much. Got a 15-month-old who wasn't saying any words. I've known someone who didn't talk or walk till she was 3. Then her mom always used to make the joke that she got up and ran and never shut up. She just wasn't in any rush. There's no, if you're really concerned, go and seek medical advice, but they often don't talk till they're 2 or 2.5. That's quite common. But if you're really worried, go. I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but I've got lots of experience with kids who don't talk till they're 2 or 3, or don't say much anyway. My granddaughter, this is the difference between her dad and her. Her father, my son, he's 35. He came out of the womb talking. Like, he just talked and talked and talked. She wasn't so much that way. She was more, she wasn't as verbal. Like, he just never shut up. So, but yeah, so they're all different, right? That's his daughter. And yet still she's slower to talk than he was. Doesn't nothing to do with intelligence. It's just not that important to her. Whereas, yeah, he never shut up. He was very chatty from day one. So they're all different. And my daughter was she didn't talk as quick as he did, but she couldn't get a word in edgewise because my son and I were talking constantly. He was 5 years old when she was born. So we already had this routine between the two of us. We never shut up. And then she came along. She couldn't get a word in. So I don't know if she talked till she was about 16, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, they're all different. You know, there's these milestones. If you get too obsessed with them, you'll drive yourself nuts. Like some kids start to walk at 6 months old. Some kids don't walk till they're 16 months old or even 2. They might not get up and walk really well. They're just not interested in doing it. You know, milestones are suggestions, basically. But if you're really worried, then go and seek medical advice. Okay. I live with my mother. She's always trying to tell me how to parent. It's hard if you're living with her and it's her home, is it? Or is she in your home? I don't know. But here's the only advice I ever give you. If you've got Budinsky grandparents or anybody, just say, you know, when you undermine my parenting, it hurts my feelings. If they don't respect that, then what can you do? Unsolicited advice is never appreciated. And then they always hide behind intentions. Well, I'm just trying to help. Well, you're not helping. We don't react to intentions. We react to what's said and done to us, not what people say they mean behind it. It's ridiculous. It's like if someone said to you, gee, you know, you really should lose some weight. What I meant was you look great as you are. All they heard was that all you hear is, oh, you're fat. See what I'm saying? Yeah, unsolicited advice is never appreciated. So yeah, just try when you undermine my parenting, it hurts my feelings. What can she say to that? Oh, I'm just trying to help. Well, you're not. It's just hurting my feelings. So just so you know, every time you tell me how to parent, you're hurting my feelings. So long as we understand what's going on here. That's what I would say. My mother never said anything. I never would say that to my kids either. Never. I never would. I never offer advice. Well, as if I know everything anyway. My daughter-in-law and son, they're doing a great job. It's not exactly like I would do, but who's to say it's not better? I don't know. They're doing a fantastic job. None of my business. It's their kid anyway. And luckily I think they're doing a fantastic job. Plus it's my job to support them anyway. That's my job. It's none of my business how they parent. It's not my kid. As much as I love being a grandmother, she's only one. I would say what's really neat is seeing your kids parent. That's what I enjoy that. Oh no, she's pretty terrific, but it's really fun watching your kids parent. Yeah, I find that really rewarding. It's just full circle. But you know, someone said to me, oh, well, I guess you give them a lot of advice. Well, they don't know me very well. I just don't do that. I'm not a bossy boots at all. And if you're a grandparent and you're giving advice, it's not appreciated unless it's asked. If someone asks you for advice, even then I'd be careful. You know, I'm there to support. As a grandparent, I'm there to support and encourage and make them feel good about their parenting. That's my job. Didn't have good role models for parents, so I struggle a lot. Yeah, but you're not your parents. Like a lot of parents say to me, well, this is how I was raised, so that's what I've done. You're not your parents. You can forge a new way. My mom was a leader. My dad was a pleaser for sure. But I wasn't disciplined enough. I look back, and even as a kid, I wish my parents had been tougher on me. They let me get away with too much. They were older. I came along later. I was adopted, so I was probably doted on a bit too much. But yeah, it was very different, but it was still pretty terrific. I was very loved. I was never yelled at or anything. And I knew my mom. I never wanted to disappoint my mom. She was a leader. I looked up to her. I think she should have looked disappointed more than she did, but I remember this really well. My dad was a pushover and he'd give me whatever I asked for. And I always mimicked myself when I was little like this. Daddy, can I please have that? In my mind, that's how I sounded. So, in my memory, Daddy, can I please have that? And he's, sure, sweetie pie, you can have anything you want. And I guess Mom had talked to him. And one day he said, oh, let's check with mom first. And I went, oh, never mind. I knew mom would have said, Phil, don't give her that. That's ridiculous. She shouldn't have that. So yeah, mom was the leader. Yeah, I'm Canadian, and I'm also Australian. I got citizenship because I lived there for about 20 years. That's where my kids were born and raised. What was so great about Australia is, it's very different here in North America. It would never work over here, is that they rely very heavily on parent involvement in the classrooms. There's always parents at school helping out. Where they're in the back of the class, just helping, maybe helping a kid who's maybe struggling more, whatever. And they rely very heavily on parent involvement, which was fantastic. And then when we first moved here, my daughter she was just in middle school. So she was little. And when we moved back to Canada, and there's no parent involvement. There's a little bit on field trips and that, but not every day. I couldn't go into class. The reason is, in Australia, we know our place. We sit up the back of the class and shut up. The teacher is in charge. Whereas here, I know darn well that the North Americans would be more likely to interfere in the teaching. They have more of a say in things. Whereas in Australia, we're very obedient. We just sit in the back of the class and we shut up, whatever the teacher says. I used to get in trouble for talking. Mrs. Bunnage, we can hear you talking. You're very loud right now. Oh, sorry. So yeah, we're very obedient. It was great. I really missed that. I was really glad that I raised my kids in Australia because of that. I was in class every day helping out. Loved it. Okay, I got to get going now. Someone said, should I only have one child? I don't know. That's up to you. Some people, no one really knows, but I mean, some people never have any kids, and that's great. Some people have 10, and that's great. Everyone's different. Everyone's completely different. So I would have had more, I think. I wanted 4 was my idea. But I had in between, after my son, I had back surgery and a miscarriage. And then with my daughter, then I developed arrhythmia and had heart surgery after her. I just was not meant to have a lot of kids. So, but I'm glad I got 2. But everyone's different. There is no perfect number for anybody or any number. Some people are childless and quite happy that way. So all the best to them. Whatever suits you. Everyone's different. So anyway, I got to go. Thanks so much for joining me. Check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, or you can look into the podcast, which my daughter and I do together because we work together. Happy parenting. Bye now.